Welcome to the restricted zone, Zimbabwe. Well, in case it's your first time, well, we do this each and every Monday at 10:30 right till 1 a.m. Strictly homegrown vibes. The great voice, Mbeu. I have no doubt about it. Reggae music give me enough pleasure. Well, Zimbabwe, talk to me right now. Well, if you're watching live on Facebook, I need to know where you are right now. Give me a signal. We are live on Facebook. And the page it is Star FM and Godfatha Templeman Zima. I'm about to open the microphone to my special guest in the building. But of course, before I do that, I'll tell you first. Timmy, I'm going to Facebook share page, my dear. What we're going to do is hit and kwa uri. I want to pick up SD Small from Mozambique. Charles Jr. Amara Pira, Shogamira say. Bruce, live in Cape Town. Bruno Leo. Moses Malamba. Well, I'm watching live from Chirezi. It is Wandairu. Tendai Moyo. Live in England. Ronald Nachengwe. Where are you right now? Carl Caesar watching from Randburg. Bruce Limba in Cape Town. Ruben Marcel's alive in Hatfield. Gold Prince alive from South Africa. Langton Musekiwai alive in Durban. Chipika Tino in Soweto. Vincent alive in Cape Town. Well, you need to share the page right now. Because I am about to open the microphone to my special guest for tonight. Yes. Greetings, elder man.
Rastafari, greetings, my brethren. How do I?
It's been a very, 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 very long time, King.
Yeah, man, I don't know. Always there on the road, you know?
Yeah, always traveling and seeing the road, like always.
Yeah, man.
But you know what surprised me is when I just saw you now, you look younger than before than the last time I saw you.
Well, I chew the ital liberty, you know.
Ital liberty.
Yeah, man.
But how are you, King?
No, I'm full, giving thanks for life and your blessings, you know.
Give thanks. Well, Zimbabwe, if you're joining us right now, we are joined by the living legend, Elder Trevor Hall, Ras Jabu Hall. King, maybe you can enlighten Zimbabwe. Who is Ras Jabu Hall, Elder Trevor Hall?
Well,
everybody wants to know, you know, we can't talk of reggae music in Zimbabwe, we can't talk of Rastafari without talking about your name.
Yeah, well, you know, just a humble Rasta man, you know. Well, you can say coming out of the lines of Africa through Jamaica, through the UK, we are on the battlefield.
Yes.
Return, whether I would say repatriate.
Repatriate.
You know? But you see, at this time, them still call we migrants, and through the colonized mind and thing,
Yes.
them would still stamp we as aliens, you know, when we reach from the land, and you know, so you know, we're still fighting for that true redemption and emancipation.
Exactly.
You know, so as a Rasta man, you know, through the liberty of His Imperial Majesty and the teachings, we are here just, you know, again as an artist, musician, you know, well, I and I rise through liberation, you see, and through that, we've been fighting from the early days through using reggae music as the vehicle, right, to spread the message of
Yes.
truth and rights, righteousness, Rastafari liberty, black consciousness, and for the upliftment of I youths who are the future.
Yes, you know, I've seen, you know, over time, you have been doing a lot of projects, and personally, I've known you for the longest time, you know, and for many youths, they always wonder, was Elder born in Zimbabwe? Was he born in the UK? Was he born in Jamaica? Please, can you enlighten us?
Well, I was conceived in Jamaica, right? And 3 months after that, my parents was part of what we call the Windrush generation. Now, the Windrush generation at that time in the 50s, after the Second World War, you'll find that there was this ship them they sent to the Caribbean called the Windrush, SS Windrush. Now, a lot of promises was made to I parents and so forth. And being young, my parents them take up that opportunity because this was now again the brain drain and the skills drain of I. They took I, my 4 parents, my great grandfather and mother, right, on ship from the West Coast, Africa, because my ancestry is that of the griots.
Okay.
Where you would find within Gambia area and so forth.
Yeah.
And on the west coast of Africa. So through that, the slave trade, my great grandparents, them was there now, taken to Jamaica, right, for the breaking purpose, you know, to make a slave.
Yes.
Right, and thing, and basically, I parents, my grandparents, father and so forth, and thing, mother and thing, you know, where it come to, they were building, they were doing everything to raise up Jamaica. Some of my families as well from them were taken to the Americas and so forth.
Yes.
Right? So therefore now, there came the time after the Second World War. Again, the brain drain and the skills drain of the Caribbean.
Yes.
Right? When we say Caribbean, to us it means carried I beyond I borders. Africa.
Yes.
Right? Babylon would say the borders of no return.
Yes.
But I now have returned. That's right. So through that movement to England, like I said, I live in my mother's belly.
Yes.
And reached in England, and 6 months after that, born in England. Right? And go Jamaica, because my father never loved what was going on, conditions and things in England in that time. was very harsh for I and I as black people, because it was the era of the time when you would even see on signs where to try and get accommodation and things like that, you would see signs put up, no dogs, right? No blacks, even no Irish, because in those early days, them used to regard the Irish as black people too.
Wow.
Yeah.
It was very harsh.
If you really look on it, they didn't want, even they used to have benches where black people couldn't sit down on. Certain areas them never want you to walk on it. Whilst them they tell I and I parents that now the streets pave a goal, you're going to get good job, going to get things. Nothing like that. All those who had skills and so forth, they were actually demoted within their profession in order to be given that meager salary.
Oh.
You see what I'm saying? So you see, when we talk about apartheid and all them things, it was happening in England, Europe, all these places, long before they came to Africa.
And now for you, when was the time that you set foot in Africa and you repatriate back to Africa, to Zimbabwe?
Well, when I repatriate, I leave England 5th of January 1982.
1982.
And the first place I land and put down my foot was in Kenya.
Kenya.
Yeah. And I was only there really for a day and a night and so forth, because I had arranged for a little voluntary job and thing in Swaziland. One of the reasons why I came this side to the Southern Africa and thing, once was saying, because you see, I was part of the Pan-African youth movement growing up as well in England. And as a Rastafari and musician, I started playing music in church, playing drums in church. That's the only way they could get me to go to church. You see?
As a drummer.
As a drummer, you know. And, you know, I was playing in my uncle's band, you know, because he was also a deacon in the church, but he had a rhythm and blues band at that time.
Okay.
Right? This was before reggae started coming out. I was playing ska, rocksteady.
That was in the 70s.
This was in the 50s.
50s.
This was in the 60s. Actually.
Just before reggae.
This is
ska.
in the 60s, yeah, with ska and rocksteady, because rocksteady was like a slower version of ska. When we slow it down a little.
Oh,
you know,
that was rocksteady.
Yeah, that come to rocksteady. Then you had what we call blue beat, so, and into one drop.
Oh.
Right? That's where the real reggae rhythm now really manifests itself, from the one drop. You see and thing, right? And you'll find that Toots them and our elder artists them, from Leroy Siblas them, you know.
Yes.
Live Parks, all of them.
Okay, so now it was reggae manifesting from rocksteady.
Yeah.
That was somewhere around what, the 50s, 60s?
No, this was from 68. That's where reggae music now emerged.
Start to come in.
And come in, right? And then, because reggae now had a certain more distinctive beat to it, and it had its own feeling that was more, what would say, that Jamaica thing, because you see, influence of music in Jamaica them time in the early days was from America.
Yes.
And the artist them and musician would be playing everything that would be coming from America, England, what they hear on radio and so forth, right? And that is why you find most of the accomplished musicians them in those days were very versatile. In able to be able to play, to get work, they had to be able to play practically anything from jazz, from rhythm and blues, from even rock. Well, you know.
So now, when reggae music come in, it was for a niche market. Was it only for Jamaica, or it was spreading in the early days?
Well, when reggae music really come in, it was Jamaicans who were living outside of Jamaica now was spreading the music, because what was happening, the music actually was banned from the radio. One of the reasons why was because I Rastafari elders did call the young musicians them, you know, to really. This was Mortimer Planner, and he really advised and showed the artists them, you know, to use the music as a vehicle to carry the message of Rastafari, to carry the message of liberation, to carry the message of repatriation, to carry the message and show ones and ones we are Africans, right, born abroad.
And it was easier to carry that message through reggae music.
Through reggae music, because...
And that was probably the easiest and the best way to do that.
Yes, and this is where the rise really, that actually brought Rastafari out, you know, basically to the world, as through the word, sound and power of the music in itself, right? The consciousness of self, the consciousness that we, you know, are ancient, we are the descendants of ancient Africans of greatness, because you see, to be put into slavery and colonization, they had to first use the missionaries, right, to subdue the spirit of the people, because you can't colonize a people without first subduing their spirit.
Exactly.
Then by subduing their spirit, you take away their names. Right? Like I great-great-grandfathers and mothers were branded like you brand cattle. That is where I get the surname Hall. It's a brand name. It is not the name of my ancient
but it was the name that was given.
It was a name that was forced on us. It wasn't given.
It was forced on the forefathers.
It was forced onto I and I, because basically we were now owned. The system owned us. The slave master that brand us owned us. Because remember, we were not regarded as human when taken from the continent. We were regarded as human cargo.
Wow.
When the missionaries came, they made ones and ones to believe. Before them come, even the soldiers where them take out, who were murderers, rapists, you know, wicked people where they'd lock up, who were on death row in the prisons, they turned them into soldiers and things to work with the missionaries. So they came with the Bible and they came with a gun.
Well, and through all those trials and tribulations, what brought people together and kept the spirits alive was the music.
Well, the music, because you see, one thing that I music was one of the thing that maintained the drum, right? And the drum and the chanting, the singing is one thing that we carried with us, right? And it never leave us. And you find that the drum is the heartbeat of I&I music, the foundation of I&I music, right? And the voice, the vibration and the sound of the voice, right, would be carrying the message, right? So therefore, the drumming, actually, one of the reasons why you'll find that we were playing steel drums, calypso and thing, was because the actual drum was banned. It was banned because you see, the drum beat, we could either raise up them, the wicked them heartbeat, and them get cardiac arrest. Hypertension, because them have to start, them conscious start to freak them and thing, right? Or it would just put them to sleep, right? And with the chanting, the constant chanting and so forth, is all these what rise I&I as a people, right? So that we could liberate ourselves during slavery time, right? We had various, where the Rastaman in the earlier days, we used have our gatherings, was our groundation, you know. That is where where Rastafari really coming from, the real beat of Rastafari, from the Akumina beat, and then the
no guns, just the drums.
No guns, just the drums. and then the lightning from the voice.
Well, Zimbabwe, if you're joining us right now, we have the living legend, Elder Trevor Hall, Ras Jabu in the building tonight. And we're just addressing the foundation of reggae music, Rastafari, you know, how everything come to be where we are today. And we are talking about the early years, you know, just before our independence, that is 1980. Because, of course, 1980 was very, very significant for Zim. Because you see, Elder, when I&I celebrated I&I freedom, one of the greatest artists of all time, Robert Nesta Marley, came through to Zim. You know, for me, I was still young, maybe 2 years old.
All right.
But even now, you know, the sound resonates with it. Whenever I meet my elders to talk about those early days before Robert Nesta came through and the significance of reggae music after he came through in 1980, you know, Zimbabwe has never looked otherwise.
Well, you see, reggae music, because of the liberation struggle, because we were talking about repatriation. Now, we couldn't repatriate to the continent while the continent was not free.
Yes.
Right? So, with the rising of His Imperial Majesty in 1930, and from all the prophecies that were being given, especially from what I, you know, founding father of Pan-Africanism, Marcus Messiah Garvey, and we had various other ancients and elders that were actually bringing us to look to Africa. For a black king shall be crowned, and your redemption is near.
And those were prophecies that were done way before.
Yes. And 1930, that was the crowning of His Imperial Majesty.
The coronation.
And her Imperial Majesty, right? Emperor Haile Selassie the first, and Empress Wazara Menin, right?
And what does the crowning of His Imperial Majesty signifies to the world? What does it mean to the world?
Well, basically, when you look into the prophecies, and you see now, when you see the revelation, where when His Majesty is crowned and sit upon the throne of Judah, right? 72 nations bowing down to His. And it was the reality of that in that time. Now Abyssinia right, was the only place that was not actually colonized, right? Abyssinia on the continent, everywhere else was colonized, but not Abyssinia, right? Now, 5 years after the crowning, that is where now Rome had to send their them warrior, the Mussolini, to come to try to conquer the Negroes, right? Which again was part of the prophecy for Anseed, because in His Majesty became the last to sit upon the throne of Judah. From his ancient, right, Menelik the first, who brought the actual throne of Judah, the sword, the scepter, the Ark of the Covenant, right, the triple crown of Solomon, from Jerusalem there to Abyssinia.
Now, for someone who's tuned in right now, who is there in yard right now, and they just want to understand Rastafari in a nutshell, you know, they want to know what is Rastafari in a nutshell.
Well, it's a Rastafari in this time, right, has become so diverse within it within the consciousness, right? Rastafari is not a religion.
Yes.
It's a way of life.
Yes.
It's a livity, right?
Yes.
You have to live Rastafari. Now, when we say Rasta, you have one foot in a Babylon and you have one foot in a Zion. So you make your way to find your destiny.
Yes.
Now, when you embrace Rastafari to the fullness, right? Because this is where now you make a full decision within your life to separate yourself. Like we say, we are priests, prophets, and kings, right? Now, it's basically you separate yourself unto your God, right? And your God is within you.
Yes.
As you are the image of your God.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Now you then have to know who you are.
That's very important.
What is your purpose in life for you to have that liberty?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Understand yourself first.
You have to do that.
Who you are.
And where you want to go. So you must know your foundation and your destination.
Now, King, you know, when we started the conversation, you said, probably I look younger because of ITAL living. And a lot of people would want to understand, when you say ITAL living, does the King mean say he survives through oranges and bananas only? Or when it comes to the food,
well,
and maybe they want to know more.
Well, you see, you are what you eat. Your food is your medicine, right? Now, when we say you are what you eat, right, you will find that certain ones become more aggressive and so forth when them eating meat and so forth, right? As we find there's a lot of detrimental things where when you're eating the flesh, eating of the flesh, and taking in the blood from other animals. Because when you're taking in the blood, you're also taking in the other spirits as well.
Yes.
And with what is going on, you're also consuming a lot of bacteria.
Yes.
Hence, where we'll find that there is a lot of the illnesses that people really have
And the
is spawned from what them eat, right? And especially being confounded by the synthetic foods that is now being produced, because people are not eating naturally anyway.
Yes.
Right? Because the synthetic processed foods actually is slow poison. This is where a lot of these cancers and all kind of diseases arise from the food. And this is actually manufactured. This is not natural. This is actually manufactured purposely. Right? The pharmaceutical companies and these food processing companies are actually working together in cahoots.
For money.
It's all about money.
Money, yes.
Mass production of food and natural foods, it's going to create unhealthy living.
Yes, and there is no way, if I take my orange naturally from the tree, there is no way that I'm going to take in some bacteria or any cancers, because it's natural from the tree.
It's natural. And when you're living organically, right, working with the original, you're not putting in all these chemicals and these enhancers and so forth. GM food right now is the real killer right now. Anything GM, because if you really check it, how many farmers after 5 years using GM seeds and fertilizers is able to get good crops after?
Yeah.
Because it also kills the soil, destroys the nutrients and so forth, right? So now you have to be pumping in more artificial. Then what are you eating?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? We have enough land. It's only because of colonization and greed, right? Why we are, because remember, from the First World War, right? Most of us were forcefully even taken off our land. And this is after slavery and colonization. So there are this First World War, when it start with a virus, right? First World War was then to, right, make sure to put the majority of the world population into poverty, right? And the best way for them to do that, this is the world order, right?
Yes.
The best way to do that was then to actually make sure that they have no access to their land, the source of wealth.
Yes.
That's right. Then certain minerals were outlawed. You cannot hold in your hand, even if you walking and touching and pick it up, then we'll make that illegal for you to have.
You can't pick up the gold, you can't pick up the diamond.
You see what I mean, right? And certain cash crops. Now when we say cash crops, crops which have great value. Not just value in money, but value in what it can do for you.
Even in medicine.
Like we said, your food is your medicine.
Yes.
Right? So these things were banned. Now, where the Rastaman advocates for the legalization of marijuana, ganja, dacha, mbanje, right, is because it was part of the main cash crop, which was actually banned.
Yes.
And that is the herb, marijuana. It has more than 35,000 different uses.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah, and I see that even in Europe, most places they legalize and they make a lot of money through the crop.
Well, even from the ban, governments were still making money from
because
it.
Of the ban.
Because of the ban. Literally, when I say literally making money, we get locked up for holding illegal possession of it. All right? It is processed down to what? Paper money.
Paper money. And who makes the money?
Right? You see what I'm saying?
It's the government.
It's government. right? You see, most people don't know that.
Yes.
Right? And that is made from the non-narcotic crop. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right? Which we call hemp.
Yes.
Right? These are just one of the commodities made from hemp. And a lot of people don't know that they are a lot of things that they are being used, even medicinally, right?
Yes.
The surgical threads is made from it.
Yes.
It is the only biodegradable, right, cellulose plastic.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Made from the herd of the
Yes.
stem of the, right? Certain medicines, extracts.
And I believe also what we need is we need a lot of education, you know.
Well, we have to, it's more de-education first. Because you see, what has been sunk into the minds for over, look, from the actual ban, right, the real ban from the 1920s, 30s, right, in most countries, it has been demonized, that even religiously people still have this demonic mindset towards the herb in itself. Yet, enough of them will go church and thing, will be going around the back and still using it in many ways.
Yes.
Some of them unconsciously using it because it's in a lot of the pharmaceutical drugs, right? It's in a lot of, when we look, most people who say them just drink tea, them is teetotal, them rare. The actual bag that holds the tea is made from hemp.
And they don't know that.
Well, most people are kept forcefully in ignorance. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
This is why you see again where they will stigmatize the Rastafari, even the music, because of ignorance towards what really the real message that is being portrayed through reggae music and Rastafari, right? Now reggae music gets a little polluted and diluted and so forth, so that it has more commercial value.
But now, King, you see, like we said, reggae music was used and in a larger scale is still used to push the message. But can you say now reggae is still achieving what it was set out to do?
Well,
from foundations, fast forward into where we are now. Can we say reggae music is still pushing forward the message?
There's a lot of message still coming through, because it is a vibration which allows ones to ride and put out their true feeling. And true feeling, when you're talking truth and rights, that even you hear gospel reggae.
Yes.
And you can hear a different kind of feeling of where that gospel artist will be singing reggae, putting their lyrics on that. It has a different vibe to it than just the hymn songs that they would be singing, those straight gospel songs, if you really check, right? And a lot of it also helps them to portray their rootical self. You see what I'm saying? They are more their Africanness. Now you'll go to Europe, reggae music it's caulking stadiums.
Yes.
Right? Of white people.
Yes.
Go to Asia. Go to Asia. the Americas, South America, reggae music is in all different vernacular languages. On the continent, everywhere you go, reggae music has become the international. Reggae music has become the international language, more of ghetto people. That you'll find that ghetto people can relate and can communicate just from, the patois that they have picked up from reggae music. So it breaks a lot of borders of language too.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
And now, Zimbabwe is exactly at 10 minutes after midnight. Please talk to me right now. Nibok Paisano Timiango, if you're watching live on Facebook, we are streaming on the biggest page, and that is the Star FM page. Talk to me right now. I need to know where you are watching from. We are also streaming on Godfatha Templeman Zima. That is the Facebook page. Talk to me, Zima. And don't batanga da pasando Timmy angry pa Facebook. Then I'll come to my people who are tuned in and are communicating through WhatsApp. Blessed Nyanunji. I said thank you so much. Amonashe Arona. Elder Trevor Hall just took me into a geography lesson. Well, it's agriculture, it's geography, it's science, it's everywhere. Tonderai Mavedas, Choboya. Thank you, Elder Trevor Hall, for coming through. 0772162651. Chad Chinyanga. Thank you, Elder, for the wisdom and for coming through. Moiden Makori. Watching straight out the UK. Tatenda TNT Tekere. One love, thank you so much. A gift, Kabudura. Bless up, thank you, Elder, for coming through. Well, it is the restricted zone. And of course, we're just having an amazing time, a good time. Tracing some of the foundation of reggae music. Enlighten, they call it iron, sharpen iron. Atatenda Mopariwa. 0772162651. That is how you can get in touch through WhatsApp. My Branya Pachi Town, Gwaza William, CBD, Brian Kazai, Pambare, Tauren any team hungry about WhatsApp. Angu Nadi pa BYO. Atatenda Chiwara pa Waterfalls. John Piri Pamon present. Dudu Chi Town. It is the leading radio station, Star FM. Jesus Abuna, Montella from Mozambique. Brighton Mazi, watching from South Africa. Tatenda Nyume, Odza in Scotland. And now, King, fast forward. When you touched down Africa, you touched down Kenya. When did you come to Zim?
Well, like I said, I went to Swaziland.
Swaziland, yes.
And I was there in Swaziland. That's where I did a lot of works more with the youth.
That was roughly when?
That was from January 82.
1982.
Yeah, well, I landed there in 6th of January 82 and developed then the Manzini Youth Center and also set up the National Youth Program for the country. Worked with various youth, the first band, the Mpanze. We actually recorded the first recorded album in Swaziland was my band Mpanze.
Wow.
And that was in 83.
83.
Right. And we then went on, because I did bring in a portable studio and thing from in South Africa, and we then went on to also record the Manzina choir, which became a champion choir within the Sadak region at the time too.
That was 1983.
That was 1983. And I was going in and out of Mozambique during the war, and playing music with the band and playing with Mozambican musicians also, going to different provinces, you know, to uplift ones and ones, you know, during the war and thing. So then after after we did a Peter Tosh show and thing in December '84, and then it was King Sobuza passed, and then there was a lot of upheaval. So I leave and going to South Africa. In '85 I was there. I helped Lucky Dube start singing reggae music, from Bakanga music to...
Enlighten me more.
No, well, you see, well, let me rewind a little bit.
Yes.
Right. Before I come into Africa, like I said, we were, as Pan-Africans and so forth, we were raising funds for the liberation movements, funds and awareness for liberation movements on the continent. So during that time, I had a center in which I was a founder with various other brethren and sisterins in Northampton. We founded the Matafankanta youth movement, right? '76 we took over, we squat and take over a building and turn that into the first black self-help center in the country, right? From there, we were also working with a lot of the exiles and refugees and so forth that was coming in from Africa. So a lot of the working with ones and ones coming in from South, even Zimbabwe, at that time, still Rhodesia and thing, in the 70s and thing, right? Before coming, before Bob Marley decided to come, right? Because we were the artists them who were working toward, you know, using reggae music to raise that funds and awareness. Bob told I he was coming here, right? And on his return, we was planning to go from England to Jamaica to Tough Gang to record and thing. Bob said, Bridget never bother think about go Jamaica now, Africa. Right?
And that was in the 70s?
No, this was after he come.
Oh, that was after he come. That was after
after he come back from the independence.
Yes.
And him show we said no.
Then he said you can't go Jamaica, go Africa.
Yeah, because I knew I how we work, because I even jammed sometime with him, you know, when him in England and we did certain celebration and thing. Being a percussionist and you know, on stage and come sometime and just 2-1-2 song with the band, with the I Farai band. And you see we had this because we were basically youths helping a lot of the elders within Rastafari and things. So enough of my elders them persuaded no, you have to reach Africa, right? So my focus was Africa.
Yes.
Right? Liberation still. I was in South. 85, we do enough things. I was doing shows as well, to the point where I went on tour with Amon Pondo to Taiwan, right? And one of the main reasons because I wouldn't fly the apartheid flag right? On my return, the apartheid government said, no, you can't stay in this country. They actually wanted to deport. They deported I. They banned I from the country as a cultural activist. 'Cause I had also a little project I go on in Soweto, which was uplifting the youths them. I was working with quite a lot of the artists and things. I did an album with Big Bagiti Kumalo and Temba Charlie called Sign You Over. And that was encouraging the youth to sign you over it and go mash down Bobby. You know, don't we there. And we were helping the PACNC youths them to, you know, conscientize themselves and things. Actually, we transform a lot of the artists them from going in at that Michael Jackson mode, the funky mode, and start to wear the actual African garments and think how we were making African garments and so forth. So we was giving them their African identity again.
And that was around 85.
This was in 85.
That is when you met Lucky Dube.
Yeah, we met him actually in 84 first. I was introduced to him at the Peter Tosh, after the Peter Tosh show.
And he was doing any reggae by then?
That time we were singing Bakanga music. Yes. Yeah. So, you know, he was the rising star with Gallo GRC. They couldn't sign. They wanted to sign Peter Tosh, but Peter refused. So they had to basically make a clone of Peter Tosh, seeing the popularity that Peter Tosh and his way of his music, because they had Dr. Victor, another colored artist there in South Africa that was more being pushed as the South African Bob Marley. So now Lucky Dube became the South African Peter Tosh. Right?
And you feel a lot of similarities within from Peter Tosh into Lucky Dube.
Well, that's what he shaped himself in that manner, right? Which then allowed him also to conscientize his lyrics. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
And have that feel now where it allowed him also to embrace his Africanness and the liberation, knowing the liberation for the mind of the people. This is what reggae music was doing for a lot of the reggae artists on the continent. Reggae was being played and sung in Ethiopia, in South Africa, from in the 70s. And, you know, enough ones where races were rising that time, right? When I went there, I started to also push reggae music on a level where I was putting compilation tapes out, and the combis and the buses and rare to get dub music and thing. That's why you find there's a strong dub consciousness within South Africa. Every Sunday you go Soweto, you see dub sessions are going on. You know what I mean?
And they've maintained it, you know, maintained, you know.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that we in Zimbabwe no longer carry that movement of that, you know, dub sessions.
Well, it's
because it's huge in Soweto.
Yeah, it's very huge, and it's the street. It brings the people together within the community. No matter you're a Rasta,
it brings everybody together.
Everyone come together. Food are cooked.
And I think it's very good for South Africa because of the war and violence we can't ignore, and that movement is what brings a lot of people together.
True.
And it actually fights against a lot of drugs and against trafficking.
True.
And now, from South Africa, what then happened within your journey?
Well, like I said, I was born in 85, December 85. Then I went through into Botswana.
Yes.
Right, in Botswana, yes, it's another different environment, very contrasting difference within Botswana. It's like you find Gaborone was like a small, big town in a big country where 2/3 of it is practically desert.
Yes.
Right? But, there was a different kind of feeling too with the people again, as the Tswanas, more of a one tribe. So there was more of a close-knit community within that, within them. But then the colonized mindsets, British have ones on that level, at a certain level of thinking, reggae music wasn't so strong there. So in a way, I did start a little revolution. Right? And first place my go was the University of Botswana, which at that time they were calling it the University of Booze and Sex.
Yes.
And consciousness was, on a certain, yes, ones wanted to get the education, but enough of the youths were mashing up themselves on the alcohol and so forth and thing. So we started the first cultural society at the university, which was called Lo Shalaba.
Was it 85 now or 86 now?
This was in 86.
This was 86 now?
Yeah, right. So now, and there on, I started a little movement, and with reggae music was playing with a band called Afro Sunshine, and then we after setting up the 20th anniversary celebration, inviting Thomas Mafumo and Blacks Unlimited there as well for that celebration.
Wow, that's 86.
Yeah, this was 86 for the independence celebration. We actually invited, it was the first time that we'd have all bands from various different Southern African countries. I even had brethren that have one from Osibisa that come in as far from Ghana and so forth, So just for joining that. And 86 was the first. After that, I actually came for a visit to Zim.
That was your first time now?
To really step down in Zim, And first time me really do a little jam was with Thomas at Queen's Hotel that time, And
it's a blessing that you have been with some of the greatest people. You have jammed with Robert Nesta Marley. You have jammed with Thomas Mafumo.
Yeah, well,
you have seen the experience. You have been part of it. You have been part of the movement. And now this was now 86, and now you were in Zim, and you are invited to jam with Thomas Mafumo at Queens.
Yeah.
Now tell me about that now.
Well, it was because we was together in Botswana and thing, and there was also a few other artists, musicians. I was even being backed by Wells Fargo band that was actually from Bulawayo, but they were living in Botswana at that time too. And then various ones was, I returned to Bots. Then I got an invitation to come and do a tour in Zimbabwe. And that's where I did link up now with Alanga band. Andy Brown and Don Gumbo and Munya Brown was there that time, Keith Ferguson, Boosie Ngube, and also Comrade Chinks and thing, right? And because
it was for superstars.
Yeah.
It was made of superstars.
You see. But we then toured. We went as far as Bulawayo and come forward again and thing.
And you're now playing with the band, or you had your band?
No, we was playing with. I was backed by Ilanga, right? And because I had my own equipment, PA, a little backline and so forth, we could go, and then that's where I did team up a little with Eddie Muffin, them Star Time, with Farai Shambari, that was Small Axe and thing, and we were on the road, right? From there, after we returned now, there was little vibes that go on with the Browns, with Andy Brown and Munya.
Yes.
So we decided, say, well, me and Munya, we decided let's form a reggae band, right? That also would be capable of backing other artists, both locally and international artists, when they come into the country. And that is where we formulated Transit Band.
Oh!
Yeah.
That was when?
That was in 87.
87, with Munya Brown.
With Munya Brown.
That's when you set up Transity.
That's when we started Transit. Isaac Chiro was there, chain up Munya Nyemba and Liba, Anton Liba, and Manuel Franks.
And that's when the serious reggae journey now started for Zim now.
Yeah, with and Culture T and Manuel Franks were the upfront singers at the time. And this was now pushing, because look, Jabi had started running the Stereo One.
Yes.
And we had various other local sounds. So
and Munya Brown, was he on radio yet?
Not yet, no.
Okay.
Little after that, it was now Dennis Wilson who was on radio.
Okay, so now the movement was, the front was, now there was the Transit Band, and there was Dennis Wilson pushing from the radio front line. Now,
mind you, there was some good bands already functioning, here. And artists were singing reggae and thing, in their own way. You know what I mean? As far as I'm concerned, you see, John Chibadura, them, Solomon Schools, you know what I mean?
Yes.
They really was the real pioneers.
And they were pushing reggae.
Reggae, yes, so, and you had the Zigzag Band,
Did you ever have an opportunity to link up with John Chibadura, Solomon Skuza, and Zigzag Band?
Even Tobias Ariketa and these. Yes, we jam, we did certain little things, and moved around, trying to also build up on the reggae. It was a thing where reggae now was on a certain rise. Real reggae music, roots reggae. And then also, you see now, the vernacular lyrics was already there. So we had Zim reggae was already happening.
It was already happening. That was 86, 87 now.
Yeah, you see. The first time I actually performed at Harare Gardens was with Job's Connection Band, right? And that thing, now that gave me the feel that, this park, here we are going.
Yes.
That is when, in May 87, was when Take the Band, and we did the first Bob Marley commemoration.
That was 86.
87.
87 May.
Yeah.
Now, King, let me hold you right there. You see, from the moment we started the interviews, you are very, very good with dates.
No, well,
I just take note that you are very good. When I say 81, you say no, 5 January 1981. When I say 83, you say no, 4 January. You were just particular with dates. You know exactly when you went to Kenya. When you went to SA, when you went to Botswana. With the dates.
Well, put it this way, sometimes I forget enough things, right? But I don't forget face, and sometimes I forget numbers, names, but I won't forget a face from a say one because I've seen many faces, seen enough ones and ones, and I've collaborated with enough artists from Dennis Brown, Culture.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
I've been doing works with them. I'd play drum, sometimes like a backing vocal. You know what I mean? And do percussions and so forth with a lot of artists, Luciano. Them,
that is why I had to ask, because with your journey, with Jamaica, with England, with Botswana, with South Africa, with Mozambique, with Zimbabwe, and just to mention a few, but you still remember the dates. Okay, so May 1987, that's when you did the first Bob Marley commemoration.
Yes.
At the park. Tell me about that experience now.
Well, that was great because it was like the first real, what I know of as first real reggae happening, and families came out. I see a lot of Rastaman.
Yes.
Emerge. Fine, yes. I was going around the ghettos there. Yeah, Mbari, Highfield, Bakosi, there was enough ones who was rising at that time, in Rastafari. Reggae music, sound system wise, was on a serious level. You know what I'm saying? Rising from there. So the culture of reggae kind of took hold within Zimbabwe, right? And when we say the consciousness, you will find that a lot of ones who embrace the reggae music also embrace self-reliance. Also were able to set up themselves in business. Enough ones got into serious education because following the teachings of His Majesty, you'll find that we have a lot of highly educated Rastaman here in Zimbabwe, right? With good jobs, lawyers, accountants, lecturers, and so forth. I found various ones who had come also to Zimbabwe and took up residency, like Nkrumah, Munya Brown, Dennis Wilson, Jabi,
Yes.
We had Cheers at
yes.
Tawanda,
yes.
Ras Jabu. We have, and these are ones that contribute a lot to helping, to nurture ones and ones within that.
Now, I was blessed that I managed to, my first Bob Marley commemoration that I attended was, that I managed to work with Crucial Mix. That was that was in, I think, 1997. If I get the dates right, because my brother used to be part of your band.
Yes, yeah.
So I managed to come through for my first show that I attended.
Yes.
At Aurora Gardens, and like you said, it was Rastafari oriented everywhere you go, and it was my first show to see a gathering with a lot of, Rasta youths. The elders, and everyone were in colors, and the food that was actually there was different from what we used to eat. You know, it was the vibe was different. How was the growth for me? It was 97. It was my first show, but for you it was now 10 years. You know, because you had started 87, and I attended one of the shows that you hosted 10 years later. How was the growth for you from 87 to 97 with the reggae shows? It's Harare Gardens. I remember that was the venue that we're using back then.
Yes. It was growing, and it was ever growing to the point where it brought families out. It brought people together, you know, on that level where reggae music, the ambience that you had, right, where it was just a one love feeling, you know. People would come from near and far, from all over Zimbabwe, just for the Bob Marley commemoration.
And I can tell you that after I attended that first event, that was 97, ever since that show, I you know, it was a blessing also that I became part of most of the Bob Marley commemorations that you were hosting there. And for me, I was a youth, but we learned so much. You know, we overstood. I remember, Mom, I wanted to be a promoter. I remember at one time calling Elder Trevor Hall. I've got an event that I'm doing. I want you to come through. Can Crucial Mix come? Because this is what I wanted, and I learned so much from Crucial Mix and from the bands. And I remember then. Today we've got a Jobless, you know, and back then he was performing with the name Ijason.
Right.
You know, and it's, you know, when you see an artist that you met 99 at the Bob Marley commemoration, and today we are in 2024, and they're still going strong. You know, can you tell me your musical journey, your experience from back then to where we are now with the how the music has grown? You have seen it all. You have played with almost every generation. You have played with all the different generations musically. You know, from Robert Nesta Marley, from before that, from the days of Sky. You were there. You would see as a youth growing up. And fast forward, it's now what, maybe 50, 60 years later, we are here. And reggae music has grown so much in Zimbabwe. We have Zim Reggae now. The show that we do every Monday, it's 2.5 hours, strictly Zim Reggae. We do Zim Dancehall on Thursday night, 3 hours Zim Dancehall. We do Zim Dancehall again on Saturday, 3 hours Zim Reggae. And all that has been attributed and contributed because of the foundation of reggae music that you're explaining and enlightening Zimbabwe about. Can you tell me your experience with what you have seen?
Well, I've had some very good experience, and yes, naturally, there's been bad experiences. But the good experiences is and knowing that I've helped ones and ones to find their way within music, within even themselves too, right? Like I said, with reggae music, there's a certain, when you have a certain consciousness, you have a certain way that you will portray yourself out there, right? The influences that it has put to what we have now as even Zim dancehall, it is taken artists international, right, from Zimbabwe. It has created an industry here in Zimbabwe that even for ones and ones to be here, you know what I'm saying? Like the eye is here, the eye know the journey on that level, right? A lot of ones have put in a lot of work, you know. For I would really like to commend Isaac Chira for a lot of the works that he put in, and a lot of times that we worked together. I even went as far as Mozambique and so forth with him to do shows and things, you know. And he's helped and influenced a lot of artists, not just in reggae music, but in music, the versatile musician that he is. you know. The various other artists and musicians that really take themselves out. Look at Winky D now, you see. It wasn't just from, you know, it was now
please.
Television.
You see, now we have about 8 minutes. You know, I just wished we had 3 hours. You know, how the. Tell me about your experience with Winky D. You worked with Winky D at Rockers Vibe.
Yes.
Yes.
Well, basically.
How did you link up? You know, a lot of people want to. Everyone was asking, Godfather, is it Ras Jabu Trevor Hall from Rockers Mix? Because a lot of people remember the face and the voice.
Well, you is one of the main reasons why guys was through the eye.
Yes.
Right? Bring Winky and thing to
yes.
I and I.
Yes.
Right?
I remember coming through with Winky to you.
Yeah. And basically he had something about him that determination.
Yes.
Right? To really take himself forward. So now it was like what was happening now at the popularity that I was getting through Rockers Vibes, it was creating certain vibes.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And when I say certain vibes, certain ones was afraid of the influence that we was having through that. So there was now, we had to introduce now, try to bring in the local.
So to strike the balance.
To strike the balance. First it was Sister Blessing.
Yes.
And then, you know, with Winky. Winky had a thing where we said, now, yes, let them come and start to be the face of Rockers Vibes, you know. From that, it elevated him as well because it got him on national TV. There now he could use his talent, and this is what well, I said the Tell Live vision can help to elevate ones on ones to a certain level. So this is where now you see now. I give thanks that, you know, we were able to assist and help to be that foundation that ones can build themselves upon.
You see, what makes the journey special is it wasn't a journey that was meant for Zimbabwe. It was a journey that you said, okay, this is a journey that I want to take through Africa. I want to go to Southern Africa. Before Southern Africa, I want to go to Kenya. I want to set up so many organizations and for the youths. And I remember you have done so many workshops, you know, and even today we feel when you're not around that Elder Trevor is not around because you have done so many workshops for the youths, not only from Zimbabwe but for Mozambique, for Botswana and for South Africa, and you're still going strong. You know, I just hope I have an opportunity to see you on stage, you know, again. What I'm not sure of is, do you still have that energy on stage? Or that energy has gone with the times now?
No, the energy still did that to the point where people get shocked.
People get, you still have that energy?
No, just come Saturday, come see what
tell me about what's happening on Saturday.
Well, Saturday we're at we're in Milton Park, right? At the Legends of Kebab. That is where because you see, when we had problems with Harare Gardens, we had then moved to Kebab Center. That was the Newland side. And we were doing Bob Marley commemoration there for a while until things went down until. So now Kebab now, Legends of Kebab now is there in Milton Park, next door to the old Hararians. So we have the bands.
Which bands are there?
Well, of course there is Transit with Cello Culture. We have Manix Motsi, you know, and his band. We also have Man Soldier, who will be coming from all the way from Bulawayo.
Oh, from Bulawayo.
Right?
Yes.
And we also have Crucial Mix with myself, and also we have one of the great artists we rise to here and has a very distinctive, style and voice and everything. And you know whom I'm talking about.
Okay.
Ras Caleb.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? And there's also with this new band, Rockers International, Ras Jerry, Ras Shumba, the dub poets.
Yes.
Right, of Zimbabwe. The baddest one, Sekuritosi.
Oh yes, Sekuritosi. but now, Elder, when is the celebrations are starting? The time?
From 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
And it's a family setup.
It's a family setup. There's also going to be jumping castles. We have some youth talents coming on as well. Pavepo Africa, a nice youth group of versatile talent in there, even some youths who are semi-blind and thing. And if you hear them sing, brethren,
You see, King, this commemoration, you started doing it in what, 86? Was it 86?
87, yeah.
87. 87 to where we are now, 2024. How many years? 37?
About 37
years. 38 years down the line. Doing the Mali commerce, somewhere, maybe I'm not doing my math right, but over 30 years.
Yeah.
Please enlighten me. What makes this one different and special? Because it is over 30 years of doing it.
Well, basically, there was actually a little break.
Yes.
And worse during this lockdown period
the COVID
as
time.
well. And it created a lot of upheavals for artists and musicians. A lot of venues closed down, a lot of, access. And for reggae music, a lot of people wasn't getting reggae music as much as before, right? So, in a way, it's what we're looking at as a little revival, of live band reggae music in collaboration with certain selectors and so forth and artists and so.
Yes. And now, King, it's 8 minutes before 1 and we only have maybe 3 minutes. I don't know if I can just drop one instrumental for the eye to I had hoped, I wanted to I wanted 15 minutes of performance, but the people are just saying, Godfather, we are loving the story, we are loving the journey. Please, we need to have an understanding and understanding of our journey, where certain things that we never really get to hear and to know about. And it's been a blessing. It's been just amazing that you have enlightened us. But now I don't know if I can just drop maybe one reading for the eye.
Where me get it from?
Ras Jabu backtracks. Which one can I drop?
Yeah, where me get it from?
Where me get it from?
Yeah.
Well, Zimbabwe the Elder is in the building. His name is Ras Jabu Elder Trevor Hall, and he will be performing live this coming Saturday. Make sure you make it. Tune in and follow my Facebook page, Godfatha Templeman Zim. I will give you more information on that. But of course, we need to hear the Elder just give us a little bit of where we get it from.
Oh yeah, whoa yeah, whoa yeah. Skabadu badu down day. Oh yeah, whoa yeah, whoa yeah. Do you hear what we say? Me say me I do a honest work day, and I use my profession. Sometime me buy and sell on the streets. and I use my discretion. Me advise and save my money, and then me use my intuition. And all me want to do is show them I'm a man on a mission. Police stop me and I search me. Then them ask me where me get me money from. Taxman say declare all earnings. Then them ask me where me get me money from. Don't try to get corrupt and make your life just end abrupt. Most honest man live them life up and up, but red eye and lazy them can't sip the cup. And greedy man will never ever get enough. Let's work hard together, and when we live up, guess what? Policeman stop me and I search me. Then them ask me where me get me money from. Taxman say declare all earnings. Then them ask me where me get me money from. It's hard to get to help my family. Work for a day, week or a month just to get my salary. Then government won't take tax. Have a little car, me have to pay road tax. Electricity, water rates and air. And if you don't pay, policeman stop me and I search me. Then them ask me where me get me money from. Taxman say declare all earnings. Then them ask me where me get me money from. Policeman stop me and I search me. Then them ask me where me get me money from. Taxman say declare all earnings. Then them ask me where me get me money from. Policeman stop me.
Ish!
Well, what you know?
You see now, Elder, the first message that came through us, is that a live performance or you're playing a song? Zimbabwe, this is a live performance. If you come through on Facebook right now, it's a live performance. It's not a song that I'm playing. Maybe, Elder, before we go, you can give me 30 seconds and a cappella. Because they say, no, Godfather, that's a voice that has been worked through from the studio. Maybe just give me 30 seconds a cappella of any of your favorite songs from your catalog.
Or make a just, because we are dealing with Bob Marley, right? Make a just say, world pirates, yes, they rob I. Stole I from the merchant ship. Minutes after they took I from the bottomless pit. But my hand was made strong. By the hand of the Almighty, we forward through this generation. Triumphantly, won't you help to sing these songs of free man? 'Cause all I ever have, yeah, redemption song, redemption song.
Star FM.
Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our minds. Oh, have no fear for atomic energy, 'cause none of them can stop the time. How long shall they kill our prophets while we stand aside and look? Ooh, some say it's just a part of it. We've got to fulfill your book. Won't you help to sing
Star FM?
Another song of free men?
Yes!
'Cause all I ever have, yeah, redemption song. Yes, big up Templeman. Yeah, man.
Elder, thank you so much. And now we've got 1 minute to go. Thank you so much for coming through, Elder. And I've seen you come through with your album, which will definitely be on circulation. Zimbabwe, Elder Trevor just came through with an album for you. So definitely next week, Monday, 10:30 right till 1 a.m. log in, and I will be dropping some exclusive tunes from Elder Trevor Hall. Trevor, I hope and pray we'll see a lot of collaborations coming through from you and the younger generation. The next time that we have an interview, I'm sure we'll be dropping a few collaborations. But thank you so much, Elder, for coming through. But we have to step down. But before we step down, your last words to the people that are tuned in right now.
Well, it can never be the last words.
Of course.
But, we give thanks and praises unto the Most High for all that has been, I and I been blessed with. And for the future, we must make sure that our youths know the fullness of where they are coming from.
Thank you.
Because the most important thing is to know that the youths are the future. So all the abuse of drugs and substances that is destroying your mind and your bodies will never give you a future in life. And you are the ones who will be our leaders. Elders will be depending on you, the youths.
Thank you.
So to the elders, remember, they are your future.
Thank you.
Make the foundation strong. Leave out all corruption. And remember the greatness of your African ancestries. Blessed.
Yes, Zimbabwe, Elder Trevor Hall. Thank you so much, Zima. Well, it's been a blessing. It's been an amazing journey like always. My name is Godfatha Templeman, the ghetto president, talking from a DJ frontliner. Till we meet again, remember to follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Godfatha Templeman Zima. All Emmanuel King Selassie, Ja Rastafari.
Selassie.
Oh, no.